Soldiers of Shoot.
Brothers and sisters, it is me, Hollywood Edwards, on a solo mission tonight. General's orders. The General is enjoying some R&R, taking some time off for the weekend down at the beach house. Oh, I wish I was getting General money on this channel, I'll tell you that. This is Hollywood Edwards. You're stuck with me for an Impact TV review. April 12th episode. And let's get right into it because I've been waiting for Impact all week, believe it or not. Looks like I'm the Impact guy, so I will fly the flag for Impact because I've been enjoying the show over the past month. So let's get right into it. The show opens up and we are 16 nights away from Rebellion. Take my money, Impact, because I'm in. 16 nights away from the big pay-per-view, and I think it's shaping up to be a pretty good card. Start the night. The ongoing feud between the Rascals and Mr. Impact Wrestling, Moose. Moose comes out first. He's got his $8,000 robe on. I think Don Callis may have mentioned last week was maybe a $6,000 robe. I'm not sure if it's always $8,000. I think the price may have went up, so Moose is probably getting paid a little bit more lately for dominating because he's the biggest, the best big man in the business. So he says. Versus Zachary Wentz of the Rascals. I gotta say, pretty good match. Another solid opening match. Another storyline driven match from Impact here to kick off. A couple highlights here. Moose's running dropkick to the face in the corner on Wentz was pretty dynamite. Moose as this heel is fantastic. I noticed at one point he was beating up Wentz pretty good outside. And there were a bunch of guys in the front row doing the Moose chant with the arm. And I thought maybe he was going to, do it back to them. But sticking to the heel Moose character that he is, he shoved up he gave him he didn't give him a finger, but he did one of those. And I thought that was pretty cool. It stuck out to me because you don't see it anywhere else these days on television. I appreciate the fact because I appreciate Josh Matthews here for the fact that he kind of filled us in with a simple statement on how this storyline started, because we've been watching Impact, me and the General, for a month now. I think we are in week 5 officially with this show, this recap show here. And he said it all started when the Rascals made fun of Moose when he struck out with Melissa Santos. Very simple, very easy. I'm assuming Moose has the hots for Santos and didn't know that. Thank you, Josh Matthews, for doing your job and filling me in on the storyline. Appreciate it. Zachary Wentz. Springboard into a corkscrew. He did a move where he was basically setting up the lethal injection like Jay Lethal does, and he turned around at the last second and gave a big knee strike to Moose. I'm watching, man, I gotta tell you guys, I'm watching Impact, and the talent, especially the young talent, is loaded here in this company. So Moose gets the win over Zachary Wentz. They cut to the back. Rosemary is prepping for Su Yung tonight. Very quick spot before commercial. They come back with a RVD hype video. They were showing some spots from United We Stand, and people are talking out there, I know, about, Impact re-signed RVD, da-da-da-da-da. Well, RVD, I saw an interview with him, and he said that he basically signed on for the pay-per-view and then signed on for a taping night and then maybe another one. So he's not there full-time, and the way he was talking in this hype video, he was basically saying, I signed on for a match and then more matches and then more matches. So I don't think he is signed technically to Impact, but he's doing some shows. Okay, so that's out of the way. But RVD said maybe he will, get a title or two here, and now that he's back, and he also said that his waist is magnetic. So, I mean, let's use logic here. If someone has a magnetic waist, something metallic like a belt would stick to his waist. So there you go. We go to the back, and Madison Rayne is in back with Melissa Santos. And she's cutting a promo, you know, she's back, whatever. And Tessa interrupts and calls her out and says, you think you're just going to waltz in here and get title shots now? Ha ha ha. You know, and Madison says she's 2-0 against Tessa. In case Tessa forgot, you know, maybe the third time would be the charm. So she walks out on the interview and Tessa says, I accept. So sets up a match for later on in the night. Storyline threads, people. You gotta love it. Next match. In the arena, not the Undead Realm. Su Yung versus Rosemary. I am digging this beyond belief. the undead bride, Su Yung, and her undead bridesmaids come out to the ring, and then Rosemary's introduced. Love me some Rosemary. She jumps Su Yung immediately. Couple things here. One, I want to say that a few years ago, I was really got myself into, it was when the movie Grudge came out, and I'm dating myself. It was a long time ago, but it was when I found out like a lot of those movies, The Grudge, The Ring, were actually remakes of Japanese horror movies. And that got me into Japanese and Chinese horror movies. When I see, I don't know if this is based on a movie that maybe none of us have seen, but this is a freaking horror movie, and I love it. The look that Su Yung and the undead bridesmaids give you, it's crazy. It's like you're watching a horror movie, and it's awesome. It's really cool. It's really different to see. There's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them, and they hang out at the ring during her match. So very cool. This is the first actual match I'm seeing Su Yung in. So in this character. So if you're listening and you're an Impact fan, first time, fresh eyes. Very cool. The upside down Rosemary's move. I love the fact that Josh said it's illegal. He compared it to Jiri's move back in the day. Very cool move. Shout out to Stranger Things, I guess, the upside down. Again, horror. Su Yung then puts Rosemary into a single leg Boston Crab in the corner, and Matthew said this is also illegal. So they're basically telling you these girls don't care. This is a horror movie, and sit back and enjoy it, because they will do anything that they have to do to win the match. So apparently Su Yung uses the mandible claw, and she had a glove that came out, and the glove didn't look so healthy. And Don Callis said, man, can you imagine if you shine a black light on that thing? And I don't know if he's just, I'm sure he just meant blood, would show up on it. But who knows? Who knows where that glove has been? Maybe Impact fans, you do know. I am just tuning in here and seeing this glove for the first time, so I don't know. But one can imagine. At one point, it looks like Rosemary has the match pretty much sealed up, and the undead bridesmaids all hop up on the apron. And man, I gotta tell you, it just reminds me of that girl from The Ring crawling out like with the stop motion, and her hair's in her face, and of course the Asian vibe. It's such a cool look when these girls jump up on the apron and their heads are tilted and they're all creepy. I love it. The only thing I would like to see is, and I don't know if they've done this in matches in the ring, I think it would look super cool and I don't know if it would be distracting if you're there in the audience, but it would look awesome if they just used different color lighting instead of the white house lights. I don't know how that would look. I think it would be pretty cool. They would just look creepier. Or just change the lights if you pop them up on the apron, because, man, it looks pretty creepy in a good way. Kiera Hogan comes down at this point, and she's arguing with Rosemary outside the ring. And, of course, the bridesmaids are there, and they start pummeling both girls. The bell rings. The match basically, I guess, has no end. Josh said the match is being thrown out. So it wasn't a DQ or anything. It was just, your classic throwaway. But the bridesmaids are holding Kiera Hogan in the ring, and they're making her watch Su Yung decimate Rosemary, and she hits the panic switch. The panic switch. Great name for a move. Great move. Kind of I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. I guess kind of an AA position into a seated power bomb. Very cool move. And then she hits Kiera Hogan with it. So this was basically putting Su Yung over and giving her the lead in the story here now. So it's Rosemary. It'll be Rosemary's turn. But again, they are hyping. This whole show is hyping this pay-per-view in 16 days. And so far, so good. They did a hype video for United We Stand, a little recap video. The General and I watched that show, and right here on the channel, if you missed that show, go back and listen to our recap of that. Very good show. Back to the back, and Ace Austin is doing a little promo in the back. And this is coming off of the 6-man match, X Division Scramble from last week. And Ace says, it's you and me coming out of this because of the way the match ended. And of course he finishes with, it's always Aces up. Took about 30 seconds. 30-second little vignette in the back. Had Ace talking. They had clipped in highlights of the match from last week. They had a cool little distorted look to the screen. I guess that's Ace's thing specifically. Very cool. 30 seconds is all it took to set up a match. I'm assuming next week or at the pay-per-view. Ace Austin versus Prince. A very good job here. I'm liking Ace Austin a lot. And I did mention Prince being very talented because I don't know any of these guys, these young talents. Very cool. I'm watching on Twitch, so at this point we have the rewind match. Then from there we go backstage. Willie Mack is hanging out on the steps and he's talking a little bit, and he's interrupted by Killer Kross, who sits down by him and very slow. And again, I'm just getting new to Killer Kross here. Very soft-spoken. He was talking about jazz music. And I thought this was interesting because it came off as very American Psycho. Specifically talking about... Now, of course, if you ever seen that movie, American Psycho, Christian Bale's in there, and he's obsessed with 80s music, and he's talking about Genesis, and, right before he kills people. Very strange. But Killer Kross is talking about jazz. And he makes the references, and he's explaining to Willie Mack how Swan is basically just using him. And looked like Willie Mack may be thinking, is Killer Kross right here? I need to take a step back from this and look at this. So it seems like Killer Kross is going to be that guy in the back that's just going to mess with everybody psychologically. So more on this later, moving forward. The Deaners in the back. Don't know who the Deaners are. This is the second week in a row they're showing some vignettes. Obviously, very hillbilly-esque, if you will, and they're in the shed and they're drinking. And the Deaner on the right, I'll call him, has a beer, and the Deaner on the left has an IPA. And the Deaner on the right didn't like that. So he smacked the Deaner on the left. Deaner on the left said you can taste the hops. So it deserved a smack in the face. Deaner on the right, I guess I'm assuming he's just a Jenny man, But pretty funny because we do have conversations like this. Any beer drinkers out there? I'm kind of old school. If it's beer, I want it to taste like beer. I know some people. Hashtag General Stames that likes all that fruity tooty beer. We'll call it. Down in the comments, which side are you on? Moving from there, Josh Alexander makes his debut with Ethan Page, and they teased this last week. They have been a tag team for a long time, apparently, in Canada. They are called The North. Josh Alexander has an amateur wrestling background. He wears the headgear. What I liked about this, they took on El Reverso and Sheldon Jean, I believe was his name. What I liked about this was, first, they're a tag team, and you can tell. Even though it's Josh Alexander's debut, we haven't seen him on TV. I've never seen him, never heard of him. Matching gear, one shorts, one wrestling attire, but purple, silver, and black. They match. They look like a package. They look like a unit. How about that? Great moves. They work like a tag team. They look like a tag team. Finishing move was incredible. Josh did at one point, it was like it was the power bomb backbreaker into a backbreaker. So it's that move where you power bomb and you stick your knee out, and most guys botch it. This guy made it look perfect. Camera angle helped. Good production by TNA because you couldn't see what he did with his knee. Monday Night could take notes on this. I'm excited to see more of the North. The tag division in TNA, the tag division in Impact, excuse me, it's going to take me a while to get used to that. The tag division in Impact just grew to another level. And we here on the channel covering WWE have been complaining about their tag division. TNA, again, excuse me, every time I do that, I owe you a coffee, okay? Speaking of, sip of coffee. AC's marking out right now. Shout out AC. The tag division in Impact is looking very good right now. That's where I'll leave that. Melissa Santos is in the back. She's talking to Gail Kim. Gail Kim just says a few words, and she says she's heading out to the ring right now for the next match. And, of course, she goes on color commentary, guest commentary. We know where this is going right away. We've seen this before. After that, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander in the back. And Ethan Page says, "You want my thoughts? You don't want my thoughts. You want our thoughts. We are a team. We are a unit. We are putting everybody on notice," says Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander reminds me of an old school wrestler. He can talk. He can work. Good tag team. I'm excited for these guys. Excited to see more. Good job, Impact. Tessa versus Madison Rayne. Gail comes out. She's announced first. She's on guest commentary. Killer Queen starts. Love that song. Shout out Surge. The story of this match was Tessa is distracted by Gail. She's out at color commentary many times in the match. She is being distracted. She's yelling at Gail. Gail's telling her, "You need to focus on the match you're having, honey." You know. And that builds in intensity throughout the match. Very, very, very strong match. I will say Madison looked a little bit, she was good, but she looked a little bit hesitant to this fan's eyes when she was crawling up the ropes. I think there were 2 or 3 spots where she had to go up to the second or top rope. She looked a little bit extra careful. But my goodness, Tessa Blanchard's awesome. Power. When she hits the ropes, all the moves she delivers. Power. She is so damn good. She is such a good heel. I'm falling for Tessa Blanchard. Great match. She did the Tully Blanchard double slingshot suplex. The crowd marked out, and I marked out. How cool. I haven't seen her do that yet. Maybe she does it a lot. I don't know, but this is the first time I saw it. Unbelievable. 2 count. It did not do the job on Madison. She's getting frustrated. She takes her up to the top ropes and gives her a superplex. 2 count. Tessa's frustrated. She goes out for the chair. Something happens to the ref. I don't know what happened to the ref. I don't know if she punched him in the face because they put the camera on Gail. They missed it. Either I blinked or they missed the spot. She takes the chair in the ring. Gail, of course, comes in, grabs the chair from her, goes back out. Tessa's distracted, and Madison Rayne hits her with a quick schoolboy for the 1-2-3. Madison stole it. Storytelling, people. Storytelling. Tessa's pissed. Gail leaves, and Tessa comes out, and she's screaming at Josh Matthews, I know it's you. I know this is you. At this point, Tessa's losing her mind. And Josh Matthews, he's curled up, covering his face. She's nowhere near him. He's going, what do you mean it's me? It's not me. What's me? He's going. Good spot, but Tessa's irate at this point, so she leaves. And again, they're building this towards Rebellion in 2 weeks. So good job. Everything matters on this show so far. There's no filler. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. Next spot in the back. Lucha Brothers are standing there in the hallway. Eddie and Eli Drake come out, and they say they want a shot at their titles because they've proven they're beating this team and that team. Now we should be number one contenders. Just at that point, LAX storms in, and they start brawling with the Lucha Brothers again. This has been going on since we started watching this 5 weeks ago. They're building it every single week, and it's awesome. On Eli Drake, I don't know. He's apparently not with the company. Earlier in the week, I saw that he tweeted something about booking. I will research this and get back to this next week. I know he was either let go or quit. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm seeing bits and pieces of it online, so we'll get back to that. But apparently, Eli Drake may not be with the company anymore. I don't want to speculate because I don't know all the facts, so I'll leave it there. Anyway, LAX storms in, and looks like they get the upper hand now. So this is going back and forth week to week. Melissa Santos in the back. Johnny and Taya are there. Funny line by Johnny. He's so much better as a heel. Oh, it's so much better. It's ridiculously better. He says that everybody says Cage is a once in a millennium talent. But to Johnny, he's a once in a millennium dumbass. Just like the fans, they're all dumbasses, and that's the marks. So they should all get together and be marks because they're all dumbasses. And he said he thinks that he's a dumbass that comes around once every 1,000 years. Not his talent, just the fact that he's a dumbass. Johnny is what he's doing right now. It's almost like these two, he and Taya, remind me a lot of Macho and Sherry. Except Johnny's a little bit more chicken shit than Macho ever was. But they kind of have that vibe to them. And it's pretty cool. They're a little bit cooler. They're not as crazy, but they're a little bit more shady chicken shit, full of themselves. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But next we have OVE doing their gang-like mentality. We don't know where they are. But they're out there, and it's all grainy, and they're smashing bottles against walls, and apparently they're in Baltimore. And Sammy wants to know what the heck that smell is. And Fulton's in the back, and he says, Fulton, was that you? And Fulton's just, kind of standing there being Fulton. And one of the Chris brothers says, camera. So they're still instructing him on what to do, because I guess he's mindless at this point. But they're in Baltimore. And Sammy's focus is on Rich Swann. Could have had the family. You chose not to join us. We are your family. We still love you, but I'm going to beat the shit out of you, basically. So good little quick vignette from OVE here. Next up, Tessa's in the back. Cutting a quick little promo on Gail, and she said tonight Gail made it personal. I can make it personal too. And she storms out. Quick little 20-second hitter from Tessa. Again, they are building the crap out of this pay-per-view, and it's 2 weeks away. It's 2 weeks away. You just don't see this in any other companies. Right now, I'm at segment 19. This is insane. And it all matters. It all is tied to a story. It's amazing. Good job, Impact. Fallah Bahh's in the back. He's opening doors and he's saying ba 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 because that's all he could say. He's obviously looking for someone. He opens the second door, ba ba ba, nothing. He opens the third door, which is the women's dressing room. And he said, bah, and you could tell by the look on his face, he saw something. Enter Scarlett Bordeaux. And Scarlett says, she heard he needs a tag team partner next week, and he said, bah. And she said, I will partner with you. Now, she used some words that would make you think that she may be into Fallah Bahh in more ways than just being a tag partner. Bah. From there, that's a tease for next week. They also teased Madman Fulton's singles debut next week against Tommy Dreamer, and also tag team title match, I believe. Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards versus the Lucha Brothers. It's 3 matches there. I'm kind of into it. Fulton Dreamer, yes. Lucha Brothers, Eli and Eddie, yes. I'm in. Main event time. Taya and Johnny versus Brian Cage and Jordynne Grace. Of course, this is mixed tag, intergender rules, so the girls are in. One of them tags the guys have to go in, and vice versa. So Johnny's not starting this match. He refuses. It's all Taya. So, of course, Grace and Taya start. Very hard hitting. Both working their ass off. Pure power. I will speak for the general when I say the following. They both hit the ropes with power. They both deliver their moves with power. There is nothing to complain about from the Knockouts division right now. It's insanely better than WWE's Divas division. I said that. Johnny's on the apron. Jordynne Grace takes control. Taya gets over to the corner, and she reaches for the tag, and Johnny short arms her and drops down to the floor. He's not getting in there. So he goes outside, and he's smiling, and he looks at the crowd, and he starts clapping. And the crowd starts clapping with him, and he's telling Taya, look, you got this. We're behind you. We're clapping. It's a great spot. He's killing it as this chicken shit. So what's the logical approach? How do you get him in the match? Jordynne Grace walks over and tags Brian Cage. Johnny has to go in. So they go to commercial and come back. Pretty good moves between the two, Cage and Johnny. It's pretty entertaining. Johnny rotated on a backdrop to where you thought he was going to land, but he over-rotated on purpose and took the bump on his stomach. Fantastic move. This guy doesn't look like he's getting any older. Unbelievable. He eventually, Cage gets the upper hand, and Johnny crawls over to the corner to Taya. And he quick tags her, and she didn't even know that he was going to tag her. So again, he's trying to get the hell out of the ring. Taya goes in. Jordynne Grace goes in. Jordynne Grace scoops Taya up, and from the floor, Johnny trips her. Great spot. 2 count only. They separate. Taya hits a move on Jordynne, and Johnny comes into the ring and tries to elbow Jordynne Grace. And Don Callis goes, what an idiot, because the ref is standing right there. It was hysterical. No tag made. Johnny just comes in and misses an elbow on her. Great move. Here's where it gets crazy. The end of the match. Cage has Johnny up to deliver his finisher, and the referee chop blocks Cage. Johnny falls on Cage. 1, 2, 3. Johnny wins. The referee is John E. Bravo, and apparently he is the senior referee these days in Impact. I didn't know that. Johnny has had Johnny in his pocket the whole time. The announcers made it clear to say, wait a minute. Johnny Bravo has reffed every match that Johnny Impact and Brian Cage have had. Tremendous. He actually chop blocked Cage and counted the 3. You want to talk about storytelling? If you're listening and you're a wrestling fan and you're frustrated that there's no storylines going on in WWE, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Find Impact Wrestling on Twitch, 10 o'clock Eastern, every Friday night. Perfect, no problem, no with the stream, no nothing. Get off your ass, get in front of a device. 10 o'clock, actually no, get on your ass. Sit down with your favorite device. 10 o'clock, pull up Twitch and enjoy yourself for 2 hours. Great show. I'm still I'm shocked. 20 segments. I didn't even write them all down. So there were at least 20 segments in this show. 2 hours. Great show. Everything mattered. Everything was storyline related. There was not any filler. Everything was good. I don't know what else to say, man. I really don't know what else to say. I'm an Impact fan. I'm looking forward to next week, and I'm looking forward to Rebellion in 2 weeks. That's all I got. Hollywood Edwards. Maybe next week we have the General back. We'll see. For Soldiers of Shoot, I am Hollywood Edwards. Thank you for listening. Please hit the sub. Please hit the notification. Leave a comment. Thumb us up. Give us a like. Whatever you want to do. You can tweet me on Twitter at BladingForTruth, or you could follow the whole crew at Soldiers of Shoot on Twitter. We'll see you next time on Soldiers of Shoot. Watching.